Recently, I spent 23 days on Holland America Line's MS Rotterdam, and I wanted to take an opportunity today to share with you all of the food I ate on that cruise ship. Well, at least the food I took video of or pictures of. So here it is, my cruise food review, MS Rotterdam edition. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony. Today I am your culinary expert. Your culinary expert to take you through all of the food that I ate on the MS Rotterdam. There was one food item that I had to prohibit myself from eating too frequently on the cruise ship. I will save that until the end. A strong prohibition against this food, but everything else was fair game. And well, this is what I did. Let's kick our tour off looking at the dive-in hamburger and hot dog joint. They have a lot of different options on the menu here. You can get a hamburger and hot dog several different ways. I only ate there one time. I tried the high dive hamburger and the dive-in dog with some cheese fries. It was pretty standard fare for burgers and dogs. Definitely if you're having that kind of hankering, you're gonna be satisfied. The cheese fries, they were a little bit sad, but overall, definitely a good way to satisfy your burger and dog craving. Now here's a quick glimpse at the covered Lido on the MS Rotterdam, and tucked in the corner of the covered Lido is the New York Deli and Pizzeria. It's a pizzeria. This place was great. They had a pretty diverse menu where you could get deli sandwiches, where you could get pizzas made to order. They also had a late night snack menu where they would do movies in this area, but then they would also offer snacks including popcorn and pretzels. But the thing that I went to there the most was the pizza. I did try a Reuben and another deli sandwich. They were just okay, but the main reason I would go to this spot was for the late night pizza. My favorite pizza was the Primo, which had salami, pepperoni, olives, and well, red bell peppers, but I would have them remove the red bell peppers and hook me up with some jalapenos. Also up in the deli, they had chicken wings. Not a bad chicken wing, like an oven baked chicken wing. But yeah, pretty interesting options there. I do have to say one thing about this deli spot and the late night snacks, that the pretzels were not good. Almost every time I would try a pretzel, it would be rock hard. So much potential for a great pretzel experience there. And well, it just didn't pan out. Now in that same Pool Lido area, right across from the dive-in burger joint, was this Gelato and Juice Bar. I don't know if this even counts as food, but one day I did try this beet juice. This was a recommendation from Cruise Radio Doug Parker. It was part of the drink package. This beet cleanse was pretty interesting. Tasted like grass soaked in apple juice. I did it once, and once was enough. Now another cool spot on the MS Rotterdam was the Grand Dutch Cafe, featuring coffee, of course, which is important. Also a bar with alcohol. But then they had interesting included food items. They had an all day, like 11 to 8 p.m. menu. And then they had some snacks that were just from 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Most of the time when I hit this spot, I would either get cookies or pastries, but I did eventually try some of the Dutch snacks that they were offering. They included the spring rolls here, bitterballen, and they also included this veal croquette. These things were a little bit of a challenge just because of the texture inside of bitterballen was like a meat paste broth stew thing deep fried into a ball, and the croquette was the same. It was very mushy, a veal croquette. I think a texture thing threw me off, but these were wildly popular with the folks that were jumping on board in Rotterdam. And then they also had a couple varieties of pancakes. This was actually a bacon and apple pancake that was good. Of course, a big old slice of the apple strudel was not bad along the journey. Now, if I was evaluating where I spent the most time eating on the MS Rotterdam, it would have been right here. This is what my normal view from the buffet was. And the buffet was pretty amazing. There was a consistency to the buffet that I liked. Every day there was a taco station. Every day you could get sliced beef. Every day you could get a salad. But in addition to that consistency, there was also some diversity in the fact that they would offer different cuisines. One day they had like a German sausage station. One day they had Dutch selections. One day they had Asian selections. And every day they had wonderful pastries and sweets. The buffet was really where it was at for me. I was able to pretty much settle in and get the food that I liked. The food quality was pretty amazing on the buffet. Everything is served hot and fresh. It's served to you by the staff of the cruise ship there. You're not, sharing the same tongs for the most part with people. It was a really great buffet experience. And then interestingly, they had a specialty dining event that took place in the buffet. This was a $35 extra charge, but it was a seafood boil, 3-course seafood boil where you got clam chowder, and then you got this big old pot of seafood, and then they finished it up with a little dessert. Out of the 23 days, I only tried the main dining room one time. I'm getting a little less and less excited about going to the main dining room. I don't really like the time commitment. The food's usually okay, but again, the time commitment is what is a little bit off-putting for me. That night in the main dining room, I had this French onion soup, a little bit of a Caesar salad, and a lasagna. And I'm just gonna say, out of all the food I ate on the ship, this was my least favorite. None of these dishes tasted quite right. Visually, they look good, but like there wasn't that much of an anchovy taste in the Caesar. There was something weird about the onion taste in the French onion soup, and the lasagna was not that great on the lasagna. And I think maybe the whole thing that really turned me off was the dessert. This was their version of a tres leches. And if you know anything about the tres leches, it's supposed to be super moist because there's supposed to be 3 milks in it. This is one of the driest cakes I've ever had. So I wasn't really running back to the MDR. Now, I did try some specialty restaurants on board, but one I did not try was Rudy's. I also did not try the sushi bar in Tamarind. And I want to show you this restaurant. This is the Club Orange. This is for suite guests, only, like a specialty dining room. I did not dine in there, but I did do a couple meals at the Pinnacle Grill, which is the steakhouse on the MS Rotterdam. And let me give you a peek at some of that food. Of course, they had a wonderful bread selection. I tried their stuffed mushrooms. They had the famous clothesline bacon. And I also had a big old ribeye steak. Closed the meal out with some truffles. And then my dessert of choice was the creme brulee. And another great dessert at Pinnacle, which I had on another night, is this baked Alaska. It is Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia ice cream inside of traditional baked Alaska, which is a kind of a toasted meringue. So good. Another specialty dining restaurant on the MS Rotterdam is Canaletto, which is the Italian specialty restaurant. I didn't eat there on the MS Rotterdam, but I did eat there on the MS Noordam in Australia earlier this year. So I'll show you some of those images. With the bread, they gave you these dips here. Then I had a grilled calamari, and then I had Australian rack of lamb, which is very delicious. And then this was a Nutella tart, which was a really good dessert. Did not try Canaletto on this cruise ship, but I did eat at Tamarind 3 times. This is an Asian fusion restaurant. A lot of good dishes here. This appetizer is called Jewels of the Sea, shrimp wonton in a lemongrass sesame broth. Also had the tempura shrimp one night, the lobster and shrimp pot stickers, Chinese 5-spice baby back rib, the satay platter, and then for the entrees I tried at Tamarind, this is the Mongolian barbecue lamb chops, the wasabi encrusted filet mignon, and what was my favorite was the crispy duck in the ginger chili glaze. There was a variety of sides offered, including the crab fried rice, bok choy, shiitake mushrooms. Then they had some unique desserts, including their version of a cheesecake. This was a citrus meringue and a mango puree with mango sorbet. It was good. Are you getting hungry? I think I certainly am. Now, there is one item that I had to prohibit myself from having more than, well, twice. I had it twice, but I put the hard prohibition on me because I had it twice pretty quickly on the cruise. I'd like to share that with you, but I would also like to invite you to subscribe If you like these updates from the cruise life, what happens on cruise ships, and everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. It doesn't cost anything and you stay up to date with everything. Well, here it is. Let's return to the Grand Dutch Cafe. Let's return to the pastry case and let's look at this thing called the Busha Bowl. Busha Bowl. This is a huge cream puff stuffed with chantilly cream, dipped in chocolate. It's about the size of a softball and it was amazing. It was amazing. I ate the whole thing the first time I tried it. I ate about half of one the day later. But after day 2, I realized that it did not make sense to eat this huge cream puff every day, no matter how good it was. And so I put the hard prohibition on it and I did not eat it again. But man, this was quite good. Well, that's all of the food, or mostly all of the food I ate on Holland America Line's MS Rotterdam. Did any of it stick out to you? What's something that you would have liked to try? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching the show. This is Tony for La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.